Miami's Orange Bowl last January. The jubilation of the underdog New England Patriots as Raymond Berry's Wild Cards win the AFC title. The trip to the Super Bowl completed with 3 road wins. As it was against the Jets and the Raiders, the theme opportunistic. Force the turnovers from Miami and parlay them into points. An occasional Tony Eason pass complemented a persistent running game. The surprising Patriots had completed a long-shot dream. New England had slammed its way into a spot in Super Bowl 20. Today, in their first meeting since that AFC Championship game, they meet here in Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. After a fourth of the '86 season, the Jets lead the AFC East. Both New England and Miami have lost their last 2 weeks. Thus, this becomes a game of necessity for both. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. It's autumn in New England, and these two teams are trying to change colors, go to the winning shades, and Don Shula has never been 1-3 in Miami.
Dick, there's something else. This is not a typical Miami team. One thing you always knew when you walked out against a Shula-coached team is that they were not going to beat themselves. That's not true this year. They've been stopping themselves with penalties, with critical turnovers, and not playing well on special teams.
How's Shula taking it?
Well, I think the word for him this week is upbeat. He's trying to reestablish a confidence level for his team, but I don't think he's more than a step away from some panic and desperation.
Could be a losing year for Miami. He's had only one of those. New England, as you saw, moved through those playoffs by running the football, something that they have not been very successful at here in 1986, and Raymond Berry has a focus on that.
Last week, they were trying to get started in the second half. They looked like a car without a battery, Dick, and they really have talked a lot this week about intensity. Raymond Berry talking about the intensity of both the offense and the defense. You'll see them trying to establish a running game early.
Well, they'll get the first chance because the Patriots in white will receive the opening kickoff. Fuad Reveiz has it teed up at Stephen Starring, the deep man for New England. 60,000, a sellout at Sullivan. And on this fall day, we're underway as Reveiz sends Starring 3 yards deep. 15 and dragged down shy of the 20-yard line. On special teams, Renee Thompson, a rookie, was there first. For the Patriots, Tony Eason, who has not been intercepted this year. Tony Collins and Craig James, the runners behind him. Stanley Morgan with 5 touchdown passes. Irving Fryer, who had a big game in kick returns at Denver last Sunday. The tight end is Greg Hawthorne. The blockers in front, Holloway, Fairchild for the retired John Hanna, Pete Brock, Wooten, and Haley for the injured Steve Moore. Moore with a knee in Denver last Sunday. From the 20, James. And that was a long run for the Patriots last week, nearly 6 yards. James up the middle against the men in aquamarine, the Miami Dolphins defense. 3-man front, T.J. Turner, a rookie, Baumhauer, the veteran, on the nose, and George Little, the front 3. The linebackers, Brodzinski, Ship, the rookie from Western Michigan, John Offerdahl, bad back, and Mark Brown. The back 4, and they are much maligned, at least booed off the field last week, Langford, Judson, Blackwood, and Brown. Second and a short 5. James again. Nothing doing. Right into the arms of Baumhauer, the veteran from Alabama. Craig James from SMU says he likes to run with his eyes, but his eyes have been full of opposing color this season, as the Patriots, as you saw, averaging only 3 yards a carry, picked up only 40 yards rushing last week against Denver. I think just 2 in the second half. From the 26, 3rd and 4. Intercepted. Morgan and Collins were both in the same area, and so were a couple of Miami defenders. So that was the story last week, Merlin.
Absolutely, and not an auspicious start for New England's offense. As they come out, success on the first running play, shut down on the second, and ball bounced away. Rich Camarillo, and you remember 2 weeks ago here, he had a pair of punts blocked. Crowd, I think, pleased at the way he kicked last week in Denver, but let's keep an eye on it.
And yesterday at practice, Miami worked feverishly on a possible block punt today. We may see some pressure before this one's through. Camarillo scuffs this one into the wind, and a fair catch at the Miami 47 by Kozlowski. So the Dolphins come up in good position on their first possession. A 27-yard punt. Dan Marino thrown for more yards than any quarterback in the NFL again this year. Hampton and Bennett, the running backs. The Marks, Duper, and Clayton on the outside with tight end Bruce Hardy. The offensive line, Cleveland Green, Roy Foster, Dwight Stevenson, some feel the best. We're going to take a close look at Stevenson, number 57, Ronnie Lee, and Greg Cook, the former Packer.
A good start for Miami's defense, though, Dick, in this game. They haven't been playing great defense on the season.
Giving up 50 points twice in 4 games.
Understatement.
Marino, no surprise to the air, and it's intercepted by Ronnie LePet. Looking for someone to lateral to. He's out of bounds. Duper got him out at the 43. LePet with his second interception of the year.
There's a great deal of personal animosity between LePet and the Dolphins receivers. There's nothing he'd rather do than take a football away from Mark Duper, which he does on this play. Marino on a timing pattern, throws it into the sideline, and LePet steps in front right here, takes the ball away. Now Duper gets a hold of him. Watch him. He's thinking about lateraling back to Andre Tippett, but Tippett was busy trying to knock the receiver off his back.
Officially got to the 37-yard line, and a misfire before the snap.
Greg Hawthorne, the tight end, sensing some movement, got started early, and that'll cost him 5 yards.
Ball start, 27 offense.
Well, Don Shula, seeing Marino intercepted 4 times last week, more than any game for Marino, made these comments. I'm bitterly disappointed in our football team, including myself. We've never been in this situation before. We're embarrassed, upset, and disappointed. And that might all be an understatement. He said this is a week where we have to renew our own confidence. A 1-4 start may mean the worst year ever for Shula in Miami. Wide open is Stanley Morgan at the 22. First down, New England.
One of the real problems that Miami's defense has had is getting pressure on the passer. And if you give Eason time, he's going to chew you up alive. He's got all kinds of time, no pressure at all. And Eason loves to throw that ball to Stanley Morgan. Morgan off to a flying start this year. Did not have a great game last week, but you see it right there.
First down at the 22 of Miami, and it's Tony Collins with his first carry. Trying to turn the corner. It isn't there. Out of bounds at the 20, a gain of maybe 2.
Dick, I don't think we'll see New England mess around with the running game a great deal. If they can't get it going, they'll simply go to the passing game, which has been effective for them so far in this season.
They mark it closer to the 19, so give Collins 3 yards on the carry, and it's 2nd and 7. Partly sunny day in New England. The full color is not quite evident here in Foxborough, but to the north, all the reds and oranges and yellows are there. 2nd and 7 as James gets a block. And he goes to the 14-yard line, a 5-yard gain. And on the tackle, rookie John Offerdahl, number 56.
We talked to Offerdahl yesterday about his back, and he has not practiced all week long, but he is a tough kid. I tell you, they've really got more than they bargained for when they drafted him. Look at him in pursuit here. Now, you got to remember, this guy was twisted back over. His back arched so badly last week that they did not think he was going to have a chance to play. Here he is, throwing his body in to get a piece of that tackle.
Very bright young man, and Don Shula excited about his potential. Big play. And they go to the ground game, and James doesn't make it. He needed 2 and gained only 1. So here comes Tony Franklin and the field goal team.
Good job of stopping the run up front. Now Raymond Berry is going to send on the kicking squad, as the fans here would like to see him go for it, but you don't want to make a mistake in this kind of situation. You got a chance to be on the scoreboard first, and Berry is a conservative coach in that way.
31-yard attempt by Franklin, who has made 9 of 12 on this season. Tony Eason to hold. Franklin has it down the middle. And it's New England on the board first as they parlay a turnover. Lepet's interception into 3 by Franklin. The interception for New England, and Tony Franklin, a 31-yard field goal, the first score of the game, and Franklin now to kick it off. Veteran from Texas A&M who's found a happy home here in New England will kick it to Joe Carter and Ron Davenport. While the Patriots happy to get 3, they can't be that excited about it. They again could not get the key first down inside the 20 as the running game came up short. Into the wind. You can see that ball die. Davenport had to race to reach and is down and may have fumbled at the 23-yard line. A good hit by Mike Ruth, the rookie from Boston College.
Ruth looked like a guided missile going down there.
The early games, and this the first scoring of the 5th Sunday. But we'll be monitoring all the action in the NFL. You'll get the scores every 10 minutes. Houston with a field goal early against the Lions. From the 23. Double tight end, both to the right. Johnson on the line, and Hardy off to the right. Lorenzo Hampton squeezes 4-5 up the middle. Defensively for New England, Brent Williams, the rookie from Toledo. Toby Williams on the nose, and Garen Barris had a big game at Denver. Andre Tippett, Steve Nelson, Lawrence McGrew, and Don Blackman. You can take that quartet and put outstanding around it. Ronnie Lepet with the interception. Raymond Claiborne in his 140th consecutive game to tie a New England record. Roland James, who missed last week, back in the lineup at safety along with Fred Marion. Hampton again. And he has a first down at the 36-yard line before Steve Nelson can drag him down.
Let's go inside and watch what's happening. Dwight Stevenson is in the middle there. Big center, and you'll watch him right here. Watch him as he leans to the outside and just gets great position on Toby Williams. Keeps Toby Williams from any kind of pursuit, and that opens up a hole inside. When you can block that line from pursuit that way, there's going to be a hole in there for the running back.
4 times in the Pro Bowl, and many feel he's the best at his position. Watch how quickly he gets the ball to the quarterback and then his hands into the opponent. And it's Hampton again. 3 straight carries for him to the 39. A gain of 4. It's 2nd and 6.
When you talk to people about good centers, they usually would like to use Dwight Stevenson as an example. Here's what you talked about. Look how quickly he gets those hands in there, and then watch him turn Toby Williams. Look how he just twisted him right around, has stacked him up now, and then slides his body in to give Lorenzo Hampton room. I like the way Lorenzo Hampton is running today, too, Dick.
3 straight carries for Hampton, the second year back from Florida. And Marino to throw. Finds his tight end Hardy, and it looks to be a first down out at the 47. Lawrence McGrew, the tackler.
Last week against the San Francisco 49ers, the Dolphins threw the ball 79% of the time. That's almost incredible. Marino likes to throw, and Shula knows that the strength of his offense is Marino. But at the same time, you've got to run more plays than that to keep a defense honest.
You can see on the year, the Dolphins passing more than any NFL team and running less than any NFL team. Patriots more balanced. But they like to throw it too. First down play. Ooh, a good hit. Lawrence McGrew coming up to finish off the tackle as Lorenzo Hampton gets the call again.
Lawrence McGrew slightly injured in last week's game, stretched the ligaments of the knee a little bit. Looks like he's back into shape. And Roland James, you see him at the right side of your picture there. Defensive back who was out with a toe injury last week, back into that defensive backfield. That's important. They played together last year without missing any games, and they do well together.
2nd and long for Marino. under some pressure, and he completes the pass down at the New England 44-yard line. Despite excellent coverage by Fred Marion, number 31, Tony Nathan came up with what will be close to a first down.
Looking straight into the eyes of Marino, you'll watch him just pick out the tight end coming across, not the tight end, but the back swinging across, and that takes great concentration. You know you're going to have to go down and take a shot, and that's not good news, as you see Steve Nelson, who's really the leader on the field for this New England team. Trainer Ron O'Neill looking at his knee over there, Dick.
And the leading tackler again this season is Nelson, the 35-year-old veteran from North Dakota State. He's replaced by Johnny Rembert, fourth-year man from Clemson, number 52. It is a first down for Miami and Marino. For that last pass, Merlin, and Marino threw it where only Nathan could catch it, and he was well covered. Marion was looking for the intercept.
Well, the marks of Marino as a passer: quickness and accuracy, and also great vision. Those are three things you'd love to have in any quarterback.
Miami's first trip into Patriot territory. Hampton. He blasts close to the 35-yard line. Finally tripped up and secured by Claiborne. An 8-yard gain.
Defensive backs, Dick, have to take their keys initially to prepare for the passing game. But as soon as they see the run develop, they've got to come up quickly. Watch Roland James here. He's adjusting to some movement by the Dolphins and trying to get back into the flow of things. Not the greatest in the world as Cleveland Green, number 74, blasted him out of the play. But you saw how quickly he was trying to adjust to what was happening in front of him.
And Marino has to like this situation. Second and a short 2. Hampton fighting for a first down, will be close as New England tries to steal the ball. Aaron Veras, number 60, in on the hit with company. Gordon McCarter, the referee, in the dark cap, indicates third down. And now Dan Marino requests a measurement, which he will receive.
It'll also give him a little time to go to the sideline and confer with Shula. Shula basically calls all of the plays, although he does get some information down from his son David Shula, who does a lot of the coordinating of the pass patterns, and he will give Marino a chance often to call third down plays.
Don Shula, who coached Raymond Berry when Shula was the young head mentor of the Baltimore Colts in late 60s, early 70s for 5 years, the last 5 years of Berry's career. Just short, as McCarter had indicated earlier, third in inches. We understand that Nelson's injury is an ankle. They'll x-ray it. Andre Tippett, the all-pro linebacker, with Claiborne following behind, and they stopped Hampton for a yard loss.
Miami having trouble blocking those big linebackers. You get a feel for the surge right here. Toby Williams, a good job that time on Williams inside, and there is Tippett stacking Lorenzo up. But Hampton broke to the outside, but no doing as they pull him down short.
As Hampton got away, they actually nailed him for 3 more yards back to the 37. So it's a long 55-yard field goal attempt with a wind. Is it good? No, it's short. That would have been Revese's longest as a pro. His previous long was 44. Our football schedule is to get to this part of the country. You're from Utah. I'm from Michigan. I saw you pressing leaves last night. You get carried away with the change of season.
I spent a couple of days driving up into Vermont, New Hampshire, and looking at the fall colors. It's gorgeous here. It just gives me a good feeling to be able to go and see the changing of the season.
And it is football weather.
It is. This is really the first football day we've had all year, Dick.
After the 55-yard miss of the field goal by Revese, New England takes over at the 37. Play action by Eason, and he has a man wide open. Stanley Morgan again, I believe. Morgan on the far side. That's 2 big catches for him. He had a 20-yard reception. This one's good for 18. Boy, he started with a flourish. 22 catches in the first 3 games. Had only 2, 1 for a touchdown at Denver as the Broncos really shut him out that second half last week.
He's working on that play on Paul Langford. Langford has some rib problems and is not able to breathe very well. They weren't sure until just before game time if he would start today.
Leading 3-0 with 5 minutes left. First quarter. James down to the 40-yard line. A gain of 3. Well, they're talking about the running game and the fact it isn't working all that well, Merlin, and some say they miss John Hannah much more than they're willing to admit.
Well, they do. Some interesting things going on the line of scrimmage. Look at Baumhauer right here. He's angled in. All of the Joe Klecko style of playing on the nose. You'll turn it loose. You see him sliding to the outside, getting away from Pete Brock to center. And James did a good job of cutting back inside. But when you get that kind of quick penetration, it's awfully tough to get yardage.
Irving Pryor in motion. It's James on a draw. And he plows to the 20. Make that the 33-yard line. Be close to a first down. Offerdahl and company make the tackle. It is a first down, New England.
Let's go in and look at Paul Fairchild on that last play as they put this play right in behind him. He gets in on the linebacker. Offerdahl right there stands him up. And although Offerdahl is able to get a piece of James, James gets good yardage in the first down.
Fairchild, number 66 at left guard, replacing John Hannah. If that's possible. He's just playing the same position as the way he puts it. You don't replace Hannah. Greg Hawthorne, the tight end, at the 30. Just a couple of yards on the play.
Well, you watched Paul Fairchild in the run game, blocking in the run game. Watch him now as he takes on Baumhauer in the passing game. Fairchild stacks him up. Number 66 on number 73. 4-man rush. 2 hands full of jersey there. Typical stance for those offensive linemen these days. But Baumhauer nowhere near the quarterback on that play.
Fairchild from Kansas, his 3rd year. Small high school in Iowa. Ralston, Iowa. There were 31 in his senior class. Second down, 7. It's Craig James. Breaking tackles to the 23, maybe the 22, and then hit by 6 Miami tacklers. Gain of about 7 and close to another first down.
Certainly, I'm sure the New England coach is pleased at the kind of intensity so far in the game. On this second drive, actually the 3rd time they've had the ball, they have done a much better job. They're starting to get something going with the running game. You see the tackle being made, but not until they're well downfield, and they have the first down again.
Collins called the blade because he chops down the defenders, a good blocker, and he threw a good block on that play. They also missed Lynn Dawson, the tight end that was injured in the Super Bowl.
You bet they do. One of the best blocking tight ends in football.
First down, New England. They lead 3-0. Eason looking for 6 more. James would have been out of bounds anyway. Covered by Lyle Blackwood.
A lot of time for Eason on that play. When you get the running game going, you can fake the play action and get a little extra time for the quarterback. You see the little bump by James there. He was able to get his hands on that ball, but even had he caught it, it would not have been a touchdown because he was out of bounds. But that's the kind of isolation they'd love to get. Lyle Blackwood, not the speediest safety in football. They'd like to isolate him on a fast running back or a wide receiver.
2nd and 10. Pryor right, Morgan left. Over the middle, wide open to Tupu. First and goal at the 4-yard line.
Well, they burned the rookie, John Offerdahl, number 56. And you'll see it here as the Tupu comes out of the backfield, slides to the right, and then cuts back against the grain. And Offerdahl, who thought he was going, I take it back, it's Brzezinski, 59. Not a rookie by any means, but Brzezinski thought he was going outside, and Offerdahl, or receiver goes inside. The Tupu goes inside. Easy for me to say.
The Tupu would replace James, giving a breather, and he stays in the short yardage, first and goal. This is Collins inside the 2. Collins needs only 100 yards and a 1 to reach 4,000 in his career. You see 12 Ramsey signaling in the play, called by number 14 Steve Grogan, the number 2 quarterback.
Roger Manning has a lot of input into that offense. You see him there in the blue coat.
You saw Ramsey look over to this sidelines. He's concerned that maybe a former teammate might be trying to pick up those signals. 2nd and goal. Eason wide open. Touchdown. Willie Scott, the tight end. The former Kansas City Chief, Willie Scott from South Carolina, has his first Patriot score.
Excellent little rollout action here. Gives Eason time, but Scott is all alone in the end zone. Number 90, Andy Hendel, the closest Miami Dolphin defender, but he was not close enough to even get a look at that football.
Franklin adds the extra point, and with 1 minute 28 seconds left in the opening quarter, the Patriots have opened a 10-0 advantage. The Craig James gang, most offensive outfit in the NFL. Well, they were able to march down the field that time, Merlin, without a 3rd down play. It took them only 2 downs, a shot, and finally scored on the 2-yard pass.
I think the thing that would be most exciting to Raymond Berry is how well they were able to run the football.
Now, Miami not very pleased with that. 2 times allowing over 50 points in a game. You have to go back 20 years to Denver to find that happening in a season, and it's happened in 1 month to the Miami defense.
That's part of the embarrassment that Shula talked about.
Franklin kicks it off. Drills it down the middle right into the arms of an up lineman. It's Bruce Hardy, the tight end, across the 40 to the 41. So Marino will have good field position again. Tutupu, the veteran who is a star on the special teams, made the tackle. Well, at home, the Chiefs, and that's a big sellout out there in Kansas City's Arrowhead. 10-0 early against the Raiders. No score. Minnesota with a surprising defense at Chicago. Washington unbeaten 7-3 at New Orleans in the first. And Green Bay, hungry, takes an early lead against Cincinnati. Here, 10-0 New England with 1 minute 20 seconds left in the first period. Marino goes to work just outside his 41. Little screen over the middle to Hampton. A little delay, rather, out to about the 47-yard line where Tippett chases him down. A 6-yard pickup.
Same kind of play that the Patriots were able to use effectively in their drive, isolating the running back on a linebacker, but Tippett able to run Lorenzo Hampton down on that play.
Tony Nathan comes out and Ron Davenport in for Miami. Clayton also comes out as they go to the double tight end. Same formation with Johnson on the line, 1 tight end, and Hardy just off his shoulder as the wing. And they run in that direction. Hampton. The problem in that direction is Andre Tippett.
Tippett got great penetration and then came upfield to make the tackle. That's got to make it tough to call plays on the sideline. You see Shula standing there, and behind him in the hat, Don Strock. You see the signals going in from Strock, the backup quarterback, and also John Sandusky, who's signaling in, the 2 of them.
We open the second quarter, 10-0 deficit staring at Miami, and it's 3rd down and 5 from their own 46. Marino has a man. Mark Duper, a first down at the New England 37. Raymond Claiborne, the veteran at the corner, made the tackle. 18 yards for Miami.
We're seeing a lot of teams try and stack on the inside to try and pressure individual people. Watch it here. Watch the stunt between these 2 linemen. Driving inside here and around to the outside to try and get pressure on Marino. Look at it here as I believe it's Toby Williams, number 90, breaking to the outside, but nobody in there to get the squeeze on Marino, and he, of course, has time to complete the pass.
First down at the 37. Ron Davenport, a couple to the 35. Don Blackman, the other bookend. Tippett on one side and Blackman on the other of that 4-man crew of linebackers for New England.
Defensive coordinator The other side. Can't tell whether that's Russ. Yes, it is. That's Russ. Get the backside of him as he calls his defenses. He signals them onto the field, although his general on the field is not there right now, Steve Nelson. I'm not sure who would be handling that Shore and Nelson's absence out there.
Nat Moore, the veteran, is in the lineup now for Miami on second and about 8.5. Intercepted. Lepet, who had one in the first quarter, making his move in front of Mark Clayton.
I mentioned the animosity between Lepet and the Miami receivers. Watch Lepet right after this play finishes. He knocks the ball away, but watch what he does as Mark Clayton doesn't have a chance at that ball. Watch him whip his arms back at him. Now that can get you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, you can be angry, but you don't want to display that kind of physical work.
Two of his teammates came over and grabbed him. I think they want to keep him under control, too.
2-1 advantage statistically. The Patriots over the Dolphins, although they had the ball an equal amount of time in the first quarter. 3rd and 8. Marino down the middle to Clayton, knocked away by Lepet. Ronnie Lepet has made 3 superb defensive plays in this half.
Timing so essential for the cornerback. You know that Marino trying to reach the big play receiver, Mark Clayton, on this one. Look at that, just dashing it out of his fingertips. 2 other defenders close by to help, but it was Lepet who made the big play.
Reggie Roby, who had a 73-yard punt last week against San Francisco, the longest for him and the longest in the NFL this year. Irving Pryor, he averaged over 14 yards a punt return against Denver, 5 returns last Sunday.
Too much leg.
And into the end zone it goes. New England will begin on the 20.
Dick Roby has trouble when you ask him to kick short.
What a problem. To boo Shula and the Dolphins last Sunday would be like the nuns booing the Pope. You've heard that ugly sound when you played. What impact on this team?
Really painful, Dick. There's a special relationship between fans in a city, especially like Miami, where they've had such great teams. You'd say these are professionals. Booing shouldn't bother them. And yet you have to remember that these are the most competitive athletes that you can gather out of the college system. And even though they're being paid to play, their pride is on the line week in and week out. It is really painful to be booed off your own field, even though they understand why the crowd was angry.
I thought they handled it well in the press, the players themselves, saying, hey, they had a right to boo us. We didn't play very well, but you knew it was sticking in their craw. Tony Collins. Except 10 or close to it. They spotted just shy of the 30-yard line. Lyle Blackwood with the tackle. Kansas City with the early surprise. Boyce Green getting the touchdown, an 18-yard run for the Chiefs. St. Louis a field goal against the Giants early. Cleveland jumps in front of Pittsburgh 10-0. Browns have been reminded of their lack of success at Three Rivers Stadium. It's been decades. In fact, they've never won at Three Rivers. On first down, James for a few.
That was his second real short. James, I think, will have the first down now. Dick wasn't quite able to pick it up on that last down. And interesting that they wouldn't gamble a little bit. That's a throwaway down very often, 2nd and inches. But Barry, as I mentioned, tends to be a conservative coach, and yet has the other side of his personality. He has the trick plays and has not been afraid to use them, in particular against Miami.
Well, last year here, they were down by 10 in the fourth quarter. He used that fake with Big House Moore in the backfield. Sure to Hawthorne.
Steve Moore.
Craig James in the flat makes a nice inside move, and he's out to the 41-yard line. Tripped up by Shipp and secured by Langford.
One of the problems that this Miami defense has had is their inability to tackle. I'm sure it concerns that man in the middle of your picture, Chuck Studley, defensive coordinator, and Talk about heat. Boy, they are giving it to him in Miami, and he's frustrated. He says, hey, I would like to have a few more horses out there to play this defense, and there's no question he needs them. He's had to bring back, 4 players that they had cut loose, didn't feel were good enough to play for them.
Now else claimed them, and now they're in uniform. Second and short. Let's see if they stay on the ground again. And James has the first down out to the 45-yard line. Offerdahl led the defensive charge, but New England running better than they have the last couple of weeks.
Running better, but running at a defense that has had a lot of trouble stopping the running game. I don't think that matters a lot to New England. They're just pleased at the fact that they can get things going. But even then, look at how many of those Miami defenders stacked up on the top of Craig James.
Leading 10-0 with 4.5 minutes gone in the second quarter. James running up the back of his blocker. Gain of 3 or 4. Mark Brown in on the tackle.
I've always found it interesting to watch Craig James run. Has a kind of a Hunt Peck style of running. Runs under control and with a little bit of a shake, looking for that opening. And then when he sees it, he kind of pops. Always interesting to look at good backs set up their blocks, and he also does that well.
You saw he had 3 good games against the Dolphins last year. 2 exceptionally fine games. Eason going for it all to Hawthorne. And Eason, perhaps with another chance, would have rainbowed that one rather than drilling it down the middle to his tight end, Hawthorne.
Coming back off some successful runs with the deep pass, and that's something that up until this year, Eason had a lot of trouble getting that ball deep. He's done a better job this year. They're saying flip it over. I'm sure they called the play one way. Now they're saying flip it over and run it on the other side. So some of those signals very simple in their execution.
Now there's one thought this week here in Boston that Denver was picking up those signals and used them in the second half last Sunday. Eason, a desperation throw and on money to Fryer, and we've got a couple of flags right where Fryer caught the ball. Someone was holding, we would suspect. It is not a first down on the catch.
Holding, number 54, defense. 5-yard penalty.
Alex Moyer, one of those players cut earlier by Miami, but recalled with the injury to Hugh Green. Automatic first down on the 5-yard penalty that takes the ball into the Miami 46. Now that is one of the most alarming statistics of all for Don Shula, a team that was hardly ever penalized.
Here's Alex Moyer right here, Dick. Let's watch him, and you'll see him just at the edge of your screen, 54. He gets the receiver, looks like he's going to break away. Look at him, just pull him to the ground in that shot. That's the holding call, way away from the play, away from Fryer. But it's costly, a first down.
Bright sunshine now streaming down on the artificial surface at Foxborough's Sullivan Stadium. Irving Fryer gets a good block, 35-30, and out of bounds at the 27. Boy, does he accelerate.
Fryer angry at Bud Brown. Bud Brown, he felt it hit him when he was well out of bounds. The official over, I think, anticipating a problem as Fryer reacted emotionally. But you don't want to come back and bounce a guy and get the penalty on yourself. You'll see it at the end of this play. Again, the play action to give Fryer a little bit of time. And watch where Bud Brown comes across and tags him. 43 coming in, tagged him right on or out of bounds. And I agree with Fryer. Maybe should have had a flag on that one.
68, Darrell Haley was the big lineman that threw the key block to spring Fryer. First down at the 27 of Miami. James in trouble, and he's dropped for a loss as Offerdahl, the rookie linebacker, in to deposit him for a loss.
Bob Brzezinski had made some penetration on that play, number 59. There was no place for James to go as Offerdahl came in pursuit to the outside.
8 minutes and 48 seconds left, first half. New England trying to improve on a 10-0 lead.
but they're able to control the football. And when you control the football against Miami, you keep Dan Marino on the sideline.
Both wide receivers to the right, Morgan and Pryor. Fake draw. Eason guns. Complete to Morgan inside the 20. They needed 12. They came up with 10 or 11 as Morgan has his third reception of the half.
Eason's maturity has given him the ability to stand in comfortably and wait and wait and wait until the receiver is open. He also needs time to do that, but his line is doing a good job of protecting him against Miami's defense today.
Why can't Miami generate a pass rush?
Well, they've got young people in there aside from Baumhauer on that front line, and Baumhauer, coming back from a knee injury, is just not up to speed yet. They also lost Hugh Green, and that hurts them.
3rd down and 1.
That's going to be close.
Tupu on the short yardage. The veteran from Southern California is Raymond Berry, the Hall of Famer, 53 years young, from SMU. Looks on, and it is a first down, Patriots. Berry played at SMU. The running back Craig James, also from SMU, and a week or so ago they retired. Number 37 down there in Dallas, Doak Walker's number. Doak making the Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame this past election.
Didn't they go to SMU again for Reggie Dupart, their top pick this year?
That's right. Their number 1 pick, the running back who was injured in preseason, has not suited up yet. Eason, wide open Morgan, and drilled at the 10-yard line. Gain of 7, and Morgan having a big first half.
Pick up 7 yards on the play, 6 down and 3.
Now the ball right on the 10-yard line. 2nd and 3 for New England, threatening to make it a 17-0 lead. Barreling forward for a couple. It'll be close.
I think it'll be just short of that first down. They may have to come in and measure it.
Kansas City 17-0 in the second quarter against the Raiders. Cleveland 10-0. Cincinnati and Green Bay now tied, and Detroit is taking the lead against the Oilers. 3rd and less than a yard for New England. Miami brings in some more beef to try to stop what they expect will be a charge at that line. And it is. Weathers hitting the backfield. I don't think he made it. Blasting through.
Going to be an interesting choice for Raymond Berry.
Andy Hendel, I think. Merlin, number 90, was the man there first.
Hendel, a big hitter. They like him in short yardage situations. I think they're going to call it. It is 4th down. He did not make it. Let's see if Berry is going to go for it. They're showing Berry the distance. They say it's only about 1.5 feet, and he's saying go for it. He's got a few points on the board, and he wants 17, not 13.
Well, the emotional tenor of this game could turn around if Miami could stop him on 4th and inches.
Well, we talked about a pivotal game. This is indeed a pivotal play.
Eason sneaking. He had some progress before he was pushed back. And we'll see what the result of the 14th play of this drive was.
He didn't need much. He only needed about a foot. He tried to put it right over the top of Pete Brock, his center.
Well, they gave pretty good progress, huh?
They're saying split out. Give us room to bring it in. There it is.
Based on the spot, it would appear that he made it.
Well, I don't think they want to give him the first down. They're going to let Miami's defense look at it. I'll tell you, he didn't make much, but he did go right in behind Paul Fairchild and Pete Brock. You can watch him stretch the chains yourself here. Ooh. Did you feel a little sigh of relief from Raymond Berry?
Just enough. 1st and goal.
Here's Eason. getting right up over the top, just pushing as much as he could, and there was not a lot there. Miami's defense doing a good job. Almost shut the door. They would have had the football if they could have stopped them there.
Ed Hindle in on the play again. He's from North Carolina State, a couple of years in the USFL at Jacksonville. Incomplete as he looked for his favorite target, Stanley Morgan. Paul Langford on the coverage. Morgan, we were chatting with him during the Super Bowl as you see Shula trying to come up with a big defensive play and asked me Morgan about his dreams. He came up with an unusual answer. He said, I dream someday that I'll have enough money to own my own 18-wheeler. I want to drive one of those big semis. I guess that figures a little guy having to fight off the big men in this game. Second and goal, Fryer in motion. Craig James. Touchdown. Tony Collins through the block. They ran away from the motion, and James skips in with 7 more.
Watch the great block. Watch Collins come to the outside. He's actually going to cut down 2 players on this block. James right in behind him. Drives in there. There's a second block right there by the leading guard, Wooten, Ron Wooten, 61. And there's James right into the corner of the end zone.
Franklin adds the extra point. Exactly 5 minutes left in this first half, and the New England Patriots, to the dismay of head coach Don Shula of Miami, take a 17-0 lead. Have been a perfect 10 for the Patriots, who lead 17-0 over the Miami Dolphins. The kick comes down to Davenport on the 16. He's got some running room and twists to the 32. That was a long drive, 16 plays and 80 yards for the Patriots, capped by Craig James. Wooten took out 2. Collins got the man on the corner for a touchdown. To the Patriots refers to the season as a 16-round championship fight. And this is round 5, and they've split the first 2 rounds. And Miami, of course, down on points, 1 and 3, and down 17-0 with 4:51 left in the half. Marino sets up at his own 32. And he's sacked for the first time. Number 96, Brent Williams, the rookie from Toledo, the ex-Rocket.
Marino, the least sacked quarterback in football over the last 3 years, but he went down for the count on that one.
Walter Payton scoring the Bear touchdown against Minnesota. New Orleans making it tough on the Redskins. And Detroit back-to-back touchdowns to lead 14-3. Second and long. Marino not from the shotgun. Has only one back behind him, Hampton. And gives to Hampton. Didn't fool the Patriots. 5 yards. It'll leave them with 3rd down and about 14. From Foxborough, let's go to NFL 86.
And Dick, NFL 86 takes you to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where the Chiefs lead the Raiders 17-0 in the second. 10 of the 17 points set up by Raider turnovers, including this 18-yard run by Boyce Green following a Mark Wilson fumble. It's 17-0 KC over the Raiders.
All right, Bob, 17-0, the score of the day here in New England as well. And Miami in the hole by 17 and facing a 3rd down and 13. And a flag down.
Too much time, I think, Dick.
That's the call. Boy, things really stumbling for Don Shula.
Great frustration of, on the other sideline. You know that New England.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
New England got off to fast starts in the last 2 weeks, unable to sustain that kind of intensity. Had a 10-point lead at halftime last week. Went to sleep the whole second half. The week before, a 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter and blew that one. They literally gave that game away. So right now, I'm sure that Berry, even though he's pleased with the start, is saying, all right, but we still have to sustain. And you know Marino's reputation as a shootout quarterback. I don't think anybody can score quicker in the NFL than Dan Marino.
6 defensive backs for New England. A flag down. It appeared the Patriots were offside, and that's an interception by Lepet. Does it count? It looked to me as if Don Blackman may have lurched offside as he was going to put pressure on Marino.
Now they had the blitz coming from the right-hand side. Looked like Roland James was coming up with Blackman.
If it counts, it's New England in healthy position again. Miami's half of the field.
Let's go back and see what happened. Watch Roland James coming up right here, and that's
number 68 offense.
well, and he got the offense to move on that play. Oh boy!
Penalties offset. Still third down.
No play.
No play. They're going to call it back. But you saw James coming up, and his presence set Blackman off. Watch Blackman. Sees the motion inside and jumps offside, but also at the same time, one of those offensive linemen lifting up, Greg Cook. And that will bring it back. They'll replay the whole play.
Now that's a break for Miami, and they need everything they can get at this point. 3 minutes, 21 seconds left before the intermission. They replay third down and 18. Again. Garen Veras, his 4th sack of the season.
Marino trying to wait as long as he could, waited a little bit too long. Watch him. He'll be looking downfield, trying to spot the open receiver. Veras fighting in. Brent Williams on the other side getting the first hand on him. Both the ends, a piece of that sack.
Brent Williams, a rookie at one side, and Veras in his second year, the other. That young defensive line for New England. Roby's got the whole field to kick to, but into the wind.
That's a dangerous kick.
Pryor at time. 37. And tripped up. Good coverage. Joe Carter from Alabama made the tackle as Pryor tried to use all that room to run. Couldn't do much with it.
Irving Pryor got greedy on that play, Dick. He could have come upfield and made about 10 yards. And I think sometimes players start looking for the big play instead of just letting it happen.
46-yard punt, a 3-yard return for Pryor. And New England apparently will be marched back even farther. A penalty flag down.
Holding number 28 of the receiving team during the kick. 10 yards penalty from the spot where possession change. First down.
So from deep in their own end, Roby's long kick and a penalty, and New England will start at the 27-yard line as you look at that handsome young defensive end from Stanford, Garen Veras. From the 27. Collins, while Blackwood makes the tackle. Now, Merlin, when the defense struggles, and certainly that's an understatement for the Dolphins in the first 4 games, suddenly it seems to impact the offense as well.
Well, Marino has always had trouble with this New England Patriot defense. It's been tough on him. They play a tough defense for him to unlock, and they always put good pressure on him. You see there part of the stats that they have laid on him.
On second down, Eason, lots of time, and finds Craig James out to the 35-36. It'll be a yard short of a first down. Jackie Schiff, number 50, made the tackle. That's a 2-minute warning.
That's a play I don't think Easton would have made last year, Dick. Waited until the last second, stood in there and threw that ball.
2 minutes left in the half. 17-0. New England leads Miami. Dolphins trying to stop the Patriots here on 3rd and 2. Incomplete, and a flag goes down. They tackled Hawthorne before the ball arrived. Lyle Blackwood.
No question about it. Blackwood on his back before that ball arrived. I think knew he didn't have a chance to keep him away from it.
Number 42 defense, automatic first down.
And that first down is at the 49 of New England. A reminder, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of this contest in Foxborough.
You'll see the end of this play right there. You see the push in the back. Lower side of the screen, number 42 on the back of number 27, Hawthorne. That's the play they called.
1:56 remaining in the half, and New England looking for more underneath to Hawthorne, the tight end, and about 10 more before Jackie Schiff can make the tackle. No huddle for the Patriots.
Minute 42, minute 41. Plenty of time. They don't want to leave much on the clock. They want to use it all and get some more points on the board.
James on the draw to the 39. And a timeout called by the Patriots. 1 minute, 31 seconds remaining before the intermission. It's all New England. To the half, New England at the Miami 39. Leading 17-0. Eason to Fryer, and it'll be a Patriot touchdown. Irving Fryer, his second touchdown catch of the year. And again, it was the patience of Eason, waiting and waiting, allowing Fryer to break free. A 39-yard touchdown.
Eason had been called an immobile quarterback, but he escaped the rush here with some pretty fancy footwork. You're watching Irving Fryer breaking to the inside, and that pass right in between two defenders. Fryer, who's an explosive player, gives you a little bit of celebration in the end zone. I don't blame him.
Franklin adds the extra point with 1:23 left in the half. A happy New England sidelines, and it's rather woeful on the near side for the Aquamarine and Orange of Miami. They trailed 24-0.
We talked about how close the Miami Dolphins were to that panic button. They're an awful lot closer at this time.
Look at the time. Eason breaking away from the pressure. And a perfect throw, actually off the wrong foot. But a dart to Fryer, untouched for the score. Now Miami already looking at 1-3 and down 24-0. I guess in Shula's mind, he's got to figure that to go for it now. They've got to try to get something in this final minute and 23 seconds just to boost some morale going into the locker room. Chase Rader, a touchdown pass to Monk to improve the Washington lead. Houston comes back to Detroit. Halftime, Bob Costas will give you a preview of the upcoming playoffs, and his guest will be the Astros' Mike Scott, the Mets' Keith Hernandez. The Angels will be represented by Wally Joyner and Boston's great hitter Wade Boggs. That's at halftime, plus all the latest scores and top news from around the league. Ron Davenport at the 9. Advances only to the 23-yard line. And in comes Marino, facing a 24-0 deficit, and it's a tight lipped Miami sideline.
Dick, how long ago was it that they had two 50-point games? They're almost on target for another 50-point game. 24 in this first half.
And it becomes contagious in a way when you're not doing well, because you saw the offense, usually high-powered, score at will at times, being blank for the first time since a year ago in this first half.
There's still enough time for Marino if he can get a little time back there. He's got great speed on the outside. They'll probably have 4 wide receivers in there. Yep, that's what they've got. 4 wide receivers and Tony Nathan out of the backfield.
New England using a 9-man front and 2 men back. Hand off to Nathan. Able to free himself for about a 10-yard gain. Miami not using a huddle. 9 yards on the play, 2nd and 1. Incomplete to Matt Moore. Stops the clock. 51 seconds, 3rd and 1. While Marino not having a good first half, Tony Eason continues that string of passes without being intercepted. He's now gone 196 throws without a pilfer.
You sense the urgency in Marino as he gets his troops ready to hit the line. Boy, those numbers are pretty pathetic for. I would dare say that that's probably the worst half of football he's had.
To only have the ball long enough to throw 8 passes is something. They tried to establish the run on the first couple of possessions, but now have no choice. Ooh, in a crowd to Mark Duper. 3 white shirts right there.
Blackman and Claiborne. Raymond Claiborne, 26, the man right with Duper. A good drop by Blackman as he too was right on the spot. And Marino will go away empty again.
.47 seconds left in the half, and New England leading 24-0 will get the ball again. Shula tries a fake here. Nope. Roby to kick it. And a poor kick.
Short.
Wing caught that one and flew it out of bounds at midfield, the 50-yard line. So New England needs only a first down or two, and they're back in field goal range on an 18-yard punt by Roby.
Yeah, Miami troubles the last week and again today, stopping themselves with poor play on special teams, mistakes, critical errors, turnover here in the first half. It has not been a Miami day.
Well, let's see what Raymond Berry's plan is. There's the comparison of statistics. Eason missing on only 3, while Marino but 4 of 9. Dragged down from behind. Mac Moore got him. Second-year defensive end from Texas A&M. Moore, 6'4" and 258.
Released just briefly and reactivated. They brought him back partially because they need his presence to get some pass rush. He's one of the few Dolphin defensive linemen that can get in there and get a rush on him.
And New England will spend their second timeout.
5 yards.
Sullivan Stadium acknowledges Steve Grogan, number 14 in the game, as Eason shaken when sacked on the play before we left you. And here's Grogan, his first appearance of 86.
They love him here. Oh, no.
But he recovers well. And down he goes at the 45. And I have to think that Craig James, who was downfield, was yelling to Grogan, they're catching up with you. Get down.
Get down. I don't think Eason is seriously hurt. I think he just came down on the ball and knocked his wind out. But with that kind of comfortable lead and a veteran on the field, although the excitement for Grogan a little too much, he dropped that ball and then had to run it. Here's what you talked about, Dick. He can feel those footsteps from behind. George Little coming in, and I'm sure you're exactly right. Get down, big fella, get down.
Grogan goes out, and, well, no, he doesn't. He stays in there. It's Eason who is being held back to the locker room, and there may have been something more serious than just the wind knocked out. We'll give you a report as soon as we receive it. Meanwhile, Grogan, certainly not unfamiliar for him, the veteran from Kansas State, to run the football 4 times. He led the NFL quarterbacks in running the ball. He's got over 2,000 yards rushing. That, in some ways, is not a good statistic for a National Football League quarterback.
Yeah, when he was young and strong and had 2 good knees, it wasn't too bad, but not now.
Yogi Williams from Mark Wilson got a touchdown for the Raiders score. Cleveland down 14-0, or up 14-0, trailing 17-14. Detroit now leading Houston 21-10. Third down and 5. Grogan to Morgan. Inside the 5. Time running out, and New England does not have any timeouts left. Look at them hustle down to try to get at least a snap off. And they accomplished that with 3 seconds left. Well done by Grogan.
The one thing you simply don't do on defense when you've got that clock running out and a team without timeouts is let them get the ball downfield. Grogan comes right in and challenges them here, right down the middle. Bud Brown split on one side, McNeil on the other. No way that they're going to stop that play, and Grogan threw a perfect pass, but boy, that is poor defense, Dick.
Now Tom Ramsey to hold for Franklin, a new holder with Eisenhurst. And Franklin nails the short field goal to complete an all-Patriot first 30 minutes of this game. Don Shula swallowing hard as he goes to the locker room. His team down 27-0. NFL 86 halftime activities. They'll have all the scores, the top plays of the day in this first half, as well as a look at the baseball playoffs upcoming on Tuesday. And we'll be right back in Foxborough. The leader on defense and the leader on offense both will not return. In the second half of their 2 wins, they shut out the opposition. And in fact, now through 2.5 games of the AFC East, New England has not allowed their opponents a touchdown. They allowed only field goals to the Jets and only a field goal to Indianapolis and nothing to Miami. Ron Davenport, the second year back from Louisville, gets his 230 pounds going, and it gives Miami a 12-yard gain.
I think we'll find out quite a bit about the Miami Dolphins in this first series on offense and defense. I can promise you one thing. That locker room was silent, and they listened to what Shula had to say at halftime.
First down at the 37. This is Lorenzo Hampton, who is the leading ground gainer for Miami in that opening half.
News out of the locker room that Steve Nelson, who had indicated that he had not returned to the field. That's a sprained ankle. They will not play today, but that's not a knee as we had thought it might be.
Hampton leaves the field. He had 28 yards rushing in the first half. That was the best statistic offensively for Miami. James counted with 51 for New England. And then, of course, the passing lopsided in favor of the Patriots. 2nd and 8. Marino on the run, hits Hardy, but is it a good pass? They say he was inbounds. Argued in front of the New England bench, an 18-yard play. Marino, respecting the pressure he's been getting, had to roll out of the pocket.
The official, I think, really too close to make this play. Watch Hardy, who's right on top of the official as he goes out of bounds. I don't see how, well.
Good call. I think he is.
Does he have control of it, Dick? I don't think you can really make that call from here. I don't know that the official, who is as close as he can get, he may be too close to make that call, but that's one that's too close to call from that angle. I can tell you that.
First down at the 44 of New England. Marino again underneath, and a flag goes down. Lawrence McGrew made the tackle of Hardy, the tight end, and a flag down holding Miami.
That will bring back the gain. And Dick, flash back to last week with me. New England dominated the first half. They had a 10-point lead. They came out in the second half. The Broncos took the ball right down the field for a touchdown, changed the tempo, and New England was not in the game in the second half.
10-yard penalty, receive first down.
We talked about killing yourself with mistakes. Another holding penalty, and Shula will not be patient long with that kind of play.
So uncharacteristic of Miami through the years, always 1 or 2 and least penalized. They had 4 holding calls against the 49ers last week. That one against Cleveland Green. So 1st and 20. Marino changing his call. Goes to the ground game to Nathan. Able to wiggle free to the 45-yard line, a pickup of 8. Tony Curtis Nathan, one of the many Crimson Tide players on this Miami team. And, of course, Mike Shula, the coach's son at Bama, leading the Tide to a big win against Notre Dame yesterday. And don't think Dad isn't proud or Dad isn't involved. He had the portable TV set after practice to check on how his son was doing. Much better, thank you, than Papa today. Joe Carter eluding one man and driving free. Don Blackman ran right by the ball carrier, and the other linebacker, Tippett, and company made the tackle after a 9-yard gain.
It's frustrating for a linebacker like Andre Tippett, who has such great talent. He has become a target. Watch him here. They pull out. That's Lee coming out to get a hold of Ronnie Lee. And look at him grab onto that jersey. You see the jersey pulled away. Tippett still got inside to get a piece of that tackle. But he has really been a target for offenses. They know if they don't block him, they're going to have a long day.
Former All-American at Iowa, All-Pro now, and still mighty young with New England. 3rd and 3 from the 36 of the Patriots. Marino has a man, Nat Moore, a first down at the 28 and ripped out of bounds by Tippett.
Well, you go to the surest set of hands you've got. And I think for Marino, that respect goes to the veteran receiver, Nat Moore. Moore picks up the first down.
First catch today is 12th of the year to give him 484 in his career, the all-time pass catcher in Miami history.
Marino, for a change, has time back there to get this pass off, although it's a relatively quick pass.
From the 27-yard line. Miami desperate to generate some offense, trailing 27-0 at the start of this second half. Marino underneath to Hardy, and the tight end is wrapped up by Johnny Rembert, replacing the injured Steve Nelson. Rembert, number 52, played his college ball for the Clemson Tigers.
Marino's saying, come on, give me a little bit of time. He has to dump this ball before he wants to. Pressure inside. You see Tippett trying to pick Hardy coming all the way across the field. Johnny Rembert, who's in there for Steve Nelson, number 52, one of the fastest of those New England linebackers. Did a good job of keeping that gain to a minimum.
Only 2 yards, so it'll be second down and 8. Marino on this drive is 3 for 3 passing. Had only 4 completions the entire first half. Gets the first down to Carter, or does he? No, he does not. Needed much more than that. Carter running into a blocker and then slowed down. Toby Williams on the nose from Nebraska made the hit. His brother Jimmy, linebacker with the Detroit Lions, one of 22 sets of brothers in the NFL this year. You know that brother feeling. Your brother Phil was a teammate with the Rams and with us today. Another brother Orrin played a couple years in Kansas City.
There are 2 sets of 3 brothers, I think, this year, too.
Marino looks at 3rd down and 4.
They'll be looking for the Marks brothers on this one, I think.
It's his back, Tony Nathan, at the 15 and a first down. And not an easy throw nor catch. Roland James, the cover man for Raymond Berry.
Well, if you don't have time to go deep to your wide receivers, and certainly that's one of the problems Marino has had, maybe you better settle on taking what that defense is going to give you. Marino has done that on this drive.
Boy, you really get the feel of the action on that camera shot. Marino with a quick hitter. First down at the 15. They consumed nearly 6 minutes on this drive to start the second half. Into the end zone and intercepted by Lawrence McGrew. To the 15, the 20, and Lawrence McGrew to the 28-yard line. And so long, Miami opportunity. McGrew anticipating Marion covering Hardy. McGrew got the steal. New England outside its own 28-yard line with 9 minutes left. with 6 minutes consumed in a frustrating end for Miami. Frank James. Down he goes. Mark Brown got the piece of him first. Offerdahl finished it off. At the half, Kansas City by 10. The Bears looking for their 11th straight win. 10-0 in the third. Giants and St. Louis in a field goal battle. Washington looking for a 5-0 start. Philadelphia trying to end Atlanta's perfect dream. Cleveland by 3 at Pittsburgh. Cincinnati big now against Green Bay at the half. The Packers a terrible start. Detroit leading Houston. Grogan going long and too long. Nothing wrong with Grogan's arm. Looking for Fryer. Dan Marino.
Well, last week, Dick, he said that a quarterback can't force plays to try and make things happen. You've got to be patient. I wasn't patient, and I think that's the same thing that happened to Marino right there. Marino normally would have sensed that that pass could not have been completed and would have waited, would have looked for another receiver. But in his eagerness to make the big play, he made the big play for the New England Patriots.
And that's 6 interceptions in the last game and a half, plus this third quarter. 3rd and long for Grogan. The veteran replacing the injured Tony Eason gives to Tony Collins. And he's back only to the 30. A gain of 3. The Patriots with a rare experience. They're going to have to punt the football.
Now, Miami's defense came out emotionally charged, as did their offense, but at least they were able to successfully conclude this first series. Studley, I'm sure, frustrated on the sideline. All he has to do is look up and see 27 points. He had a feeling that those multiple point teams were behind him, but no way. They've fallen on him again.
James Pruitt, the rookie, back at the 26. Camarillo's second punt of the game has only taken the first half, was but 28 yards, but he has the win this time. Sends Pruitt back to the 26. And Pruitt wrapped up at the 32-yard line. Jim Bowman 28 to Tupu 30. Ed Williams 54, all in on the tackle. A 44-yard kick.
Pruitt had real trouble handling the football last week. At least he tucks this one away, and Miami has a chance on offense.
This is a Miami Dolphin team struggling at 27-0 and 1-3.
I think they don't look like the Miami teams we've come to appreciate, and I can sense the pain down there. I played on some teams that had big scores run up against them, and I know what's going on down on that sideline.
Well, the pressure on Marino to try to rally Miami. He gives to Hampton, and Hampton finally wrapped up by Tippett, 56. Well, he's had an armful of tackles again today, Tippett. Only in his 5th year as a second-degree black belt in karate, and it's not just the physical quickness and strength that he feels karate has given him, but he points to the mental toughness that sport has offered and the carryover into football.
I'm sure I had him last year in the Pro Bowl. They're very impressed with the quality he brought to that game.
Midway through the third quarter, 27-0 New England. Wrapped up in the backfield.
Got a flag down, and I'm afraid we're going to have a holding call inside. Oh, I tell you, it just has not gone well for the Dolphins at any aspect of the game today. Shula just can't believe it.
Turns his back to the action.
And what do you call now? You obviously have got to become concerned with the clock. 27 points.
Holding number 61 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's a second down and inches play, and now suddenly it's as if you didn't do anything on first down.
You've also got to remember they need 4 touchdowns to go ahead in this game, but they've got to start with 1. You can't get 4 at one time.
That's now the 5th Miami penalty, 39 yards. New England 2 fouls for 15. Nothing there. McGrew and Tippett for a -1.
I'm sure Miami had to believe that New England's defense would be coming after Marino. They're thinking thinking about getting the run, sneaking him in for a few yards, but New England right along there with him saying, hey, you're going to run the ball, we'll play a run defense. There's Rod Rust. You see him on the sideline. He has got to be very pleased at what has happened so far in this game. He was totally unhappy, by the way, about what happened last week.
And the week before, as they gave up big scores to Denver and Seattle. 3rd and 11. Marino has a man, and Pruitt can't catch it. Hit him right in the chest.
Let's go back and look at Raymond Claiborne. You know, we always watch what's happening where the ball is being thrown. One of the reasons that Marino had to go to that side of the field was that Raymond Claiborne is in one-on-one coverage on the far side of the field. Now that's the other side. That's Lepet or Gibson actually on that side. But on the other side, we had a good one-on-one coverage by Claiborne, forcing him to go the other way.
And we'll try to take a look at Claiborne, who runs as well backwards as he does forwards. True of most of the good cornerbacks. Pryor waits. Roby's kick to the 27. Now he's got some room. And out of bounds finally around the 40-yard line. Roby, the punter, perhaps the last man to keep Pryor from a touchdown. New England in good position again. Woody Bennett, Lorenzo Hampton, reflecting the somber mood of the Miami sidelines. 5:26 remaining in the third period. 27-0 New England, and the Patriots have the pumpkin again at their own 40.
Good news. Eason on the sideline and showing his ribs off, talking, I believe, to the team doctor there.
Greg James getting back inside the flow to the 42-yard line, checking the other scores of the early games in the NFL today. No changes there. Pittsburgh Boomer Esiason. That Cincinnati game, Boomer Esiason has hit Collinsworth with the second touchdown pass of the day. 27-7 Bengals. James struggling back to the line of scrimmage. Good piece of running to do that. Jackie Schiff, number 50 from Oklahoma, finally dragged him down.
One of the problems, Dick, that Miami has had defensively is that when Chuck Studley came, he inherited a defense that Bill Arnsparger had built. The kind of defense that was trained to flow and move and
read
stunt
and react.
And Studley wanted to bring a power defense in here. He established the defense, but he doesn't have the people to play it. And they're not all on the same page, and they don't seem to really believe in what's going on defensively. It really has hurt them.
Brogan.
I think he's over the line. I think he's over the line, Dick.
It appeared that he had taken one step too many. It was incomplete to Morgan anyway.
Now
illegal forward pass. And Miami probably will decline and take the punt.
Well, for the Miami fans who are sitting down there and who can't believe the score of this game, might be fair to remind them that just a couple of weeks ago, Marino did have 6 touchdowns in the game. However,
that's the good news.
That's the good news.
Number 14 offense. 5-yard penalty and loss of down. Fourth down.
A younger Grogan would have run that to a first down, and he thought he saw Morgan open, didn't want to take the chance anyway. After all, if he should run into one of those big linebackers, then New England could be in serious trouble with Eason already out.
Well, I do have Tom Ramsey over there. They're one of the teams that does carry a third quarterback.
Pruitt, the only man back. 10 men on the line of scrimmage for Miami. Amarillo roots a high dying spiral. Trouble to catch, and Pruitt collects it and struggles to the 38. In the grasp of Ernest Gibson, number 43. 43-yard punt, 8-yard return. Miami still shut out. Now Miami's turn. Marino going long. A A wobbly pass, but it finds Duper at the New England 46. Lepet with a tackle. And, of course, that New England defense is going to play loose now, soft, if you will, with a 27-0 lead.
Finally finds one of his wide receivers, and you've got to respect the speed of a Mark Duper working on Claiborne, gets him turned, and then goes back to the sideline with plenty of time there. Dick, you're right. They can play with some luxury here, but you don't want to give Miami too much room.
20 yards on that pass play. 3 minutes, 15 seconds now remaining in the third quarter. Ron Davenport. Good hard running by Davenport. Was finally wrestled down at the 35 after an 11-yard gain. Marion and James putting the pin on him.
Now, we haven't seen it on the scoreboard. The score is still the same as we ended the half, but in this half, Miami has outplayed New England both on defense and on offense. They've gone out defensively and shut them down 3 and out, 3 and out. They drove down only to end up with the interception being thrown at the end zone line, and here they are driving again, Vic.
From the New England 35, incomplete to Hampton. It was well covered by Andre Tippett. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New England Patriots and the National Football League is prohibited. Marino, now a father, young son, not Daniel Constantine Jr., but Daniel, I don't recall the middle name, but it'll be another Dan. Second and 10. Underneath. Short yardage to the 29. It'll be 3rd and 4. Carter with a catch. Rembert with a hit.
Marino trying to be patient here. Taking that short pass. Brings up about a 3rd and 4. They're in 4-down territory. They can't afford field goals. If they get to a 4th down situation, they'll simply go for it here.
56-year-old head man of the Dolphins, Don Shula. He's had only one losing season in the previous 16 in Miami. That was in '76 when he lost Zonka and Kick and Warfield to the World Football League, and they went 6 and 8. Almost intercepted. It is by Lepet. He's got 2. Whoops, there's a flag against Clayton for bumping the official. And Marino is intercepted for the 3rd time today. That's 7 in the last 2 games. And Lepet has been outstanding. Clayton, losing his cool, thought he'd been bumped. That'll be a unsportsmanlike call.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 83, Miami. 15 yards from the spot. First down.
Go back and look at that play. Marino is on Clayton all the way, zips the pass, and Lepet reached in front. Now, I think what Duper was, or what Clayton was saying, was that he bumped him. He can't bump him. There he is going after the official, saying he bumped me before that ball arrived.
He bumped the official, and
well, yeah, you're not allowed to touch those officials, and no matter what you think happened, you can't lose your cool on the field. Here it is. Here it is, right here, and you see Tony Nathan dragging him away.
New England takes over at the 41. Grogan, Robert Weathers with blockers, 50. Weathers to the 45 of Miami, and the fans in Foxborough are having a Sunday punch. Yeah, this is a fall picnic for the Patriot faithful.
Serving up grilled dolphin, I think, Dick.
Yes. And it doesn't appear that they're going to hold back with a 27-0 lead.
There's the...
That wasn't your sign.
No, that wasn't mine. I didn't build that.
Both wide receivers to the right.
Oh.
A little mix-up, and Tutuku winds up with the ball.
They're not familiar with Grogan's count. He hasn't been out there much in the past weeks.
Well, another team that is 1-3, the Los Angeles Raiders, but they're rallying from 17-0 down. Napoleon McCallum has scored his first NFL touchdown, a 12-yard run late in the third quarter. Bears improved their lead. Cleveland won behind Pittsburgh. Cincinnati by 20, and the Lions an 8-point leader. The other score there, Philadelphia leading by 10 against Atlanta, and the Falcons, of course, are 4-0. After the penalty, first down and 15 at midfield. Final minute, third quarter. 27-0 New England. Pryor dragged down by Lyle Blackwood. A gain of 6. And probably the last play of the quarter. There's no hurry for New England with that 27-0 lead. And they do not need to run a play before the gun. There's 15 seconds left. And Grogan knows how to use the clock, and that's part of the advantage of having a wizened veteran at that position. He'll just let those seconds tick away. Well, we see the man in orange, Don Strock, in the fourth quarter for Miami. That's the end of the third quarter. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. And New England with the ball as we open the fourth quarter. Robert Weathers getting some duty. These are his first carries of the season. 4 yards for the former Arizona State star. Let's go to NFL 86.
All right, the third quarter in Pittsburgh. Mark Malone will hit Lewis Lips after scrambling a bit for a 6-yard touchdown. Oddly enough, set up when Gerald McNeil, who earlier had run back a kick 100 yards for a TD, fumbled a punt, and Pittsburgh recovered. Cleveland adds a field goal. They get back to within 1, 21-20.
All right, Bob, always a good one. The Steelers and the Browns, regardless of where they might be in the standings. And another tough one today. Grogan gunning to the far side to Morgan. So that's Pryor over there, and another first down for New England, a 12-yard pickup. Paul Langford on the tackle. Boy, that strength of arm there by Grogan. He gunned it.
Grogan favors really different patterns than Eason does, and he always respects that when he calls plays for Eason. Will send a lot of plays into the middle. Eason throwing the short passes where he has to read the defense. Grogan's not afraid to gun that ball with a stronger arm, likes to go deep, likes to go to the sideline, and of course that's tough on a defense when they've prepared for one quarterback and suddenly get another.
First duty of this season for Steve Grogan. Play action. Look out. Throwing deep for Morgan. Touchdown. And Grogan gets back up. He was hit from the backside as he threw by Baumauer and throws a perfect strike to Morgan for Stanley, the Steamer's 6th touchdown of the season.
If you want to test the quarterback's courage, you see how long he'll stay in there under the rush and wait for the receiver to come open. You don't have to worry about Grogan. Watch the pressure from the backside. 73, Baumauer coming around. Grogan waits. At the last second, that ball is out in the air, and then over the outstretched arms of Paul Langford, who's had a tough day. They have been chopping on him all day long.
28-yard touchdown. Franklin has another extra point, and with a minute and a half gone in the fourth quarter in Foxborough, it's a New England rout. And a mood of celebration here in Foxborough, Massachusetts, as the fans of the New England Patriots enjoying this 34-0 lead early in the fourth quarter. Franklin, the barefooted kicker for the Patriots, sends it into the wind, spins it down to Davenport on the 17. Ooh, he just does elude a fast-charging lineman. Mike Ruth was charging full bore. Oh, that would have been a collision.
That was almost a replay of an earlier kick. Franklin has had trouble getting the ball deep on his kickoffs, and Ruth last time met Hampton right as he collected that football and made just about the same move on this play, only to see Hampton slip him to the outside. Here it is, Dick. Watch it now. Ruth shooting through there. Boy, if they had hit, that would have been one of the... That's a train wreck right there.
Seismic. Ball at the 28-yard line. Duper right. Clayton left. Marino still at quarterback. Duper at the 49-yard line in front of Lepet. 21 yards.
Now you saw Miami use the running game on that last series, but there's not enough time now. Clock ticking down. 13:06, 13:05. It's got to be all in the air. Marino knows they'll give him short ones, but they will keep their people deep. It's going to be very difficult to hit them with the bomb.
Marino with that high-powered offense and his great talent. Never have seen so many zeros on that scoreboard. Trying to undo it. Goes long, has Duper open. All the way to the 8-yard line. Make it the 7.
Well, so much for that scenario. I can't tell you that Rod Rust will ask Ronnie Lepet why he ever let Duper get by him. You don't try and squeeze the man shut here. Watch him take the bite here. Duper's going to make that little stop, and you saw Lepet stop at that point. You give Duper the short pass. You don't let him get deep at that time in the game.
First and goal for the Dolphins at the New England 7. Miami has had 3 good drives deep into New England territory, but the other 2 in this half have ended in Marino interceptions. Crowd wants a shutout. Hampton to the 4. Around the National Football League. Lee has kicked the field goal, his second for the Cardinals, who closed within 7 of the Giants. Pittsburgh now by 4. Gary Anderson field goal to make it 24-20 against Cleveland. Green Bay a touchdown to close Cincinnati's lead. Second and goal, 34-0 facing Miami, the deficit. Marino out of the backfield to Hampton. Is he in? Yes, touchdown.
Lawrence McGrew on the defensive side of it, arguing that the ball had not crossed the plane. Raymond Berry is not going to argue the fact. Miami moving down quickly, and Ronnie Lepet maybe wanting to have the perfect day gives Marino an opportunity. He cashes in. Yep. I think it might have been a touchdown.
Close enough.
Miami's had such a tough day. I guess they deserve to break.
Try for point by Reveiz. And it's 34-7. 11 minutes, 9 seconds left in this final quarter at Foxborough. It's still the Patriots big. New England has 9 men uptight expecting a possible onside kick.
As well as Miami's defense has played in this half, I think they'll kick it deep.
Oops, no kick at all. And it was now touched by Reveiz.
The ball fell off the tee as he approached it, but I think they were going deep. There was no onside kick, and Shula's rationale is that if they can get that ball deep, they will not get much of a return, and he's going to trust his defense. Watch the ball just dripping off as he approaches it.
Boy, what else can go wrong for Miami? Even the winds seem to be against Shula and the Dolphins today. Almost just at that point of swinging the leg through.
Well, I don't know that Shula will say much differently than he did last week when he said we deserve what we get. They have played, I think, as bad in this game as they did last week.
Drop that one over the front line, and down it comes to Fryer. He returns near the 30-yard line. Jay Brophy, first downfield for the Dolphins.
Has New England gotten the first down in the second half? I don't think they have.
Yes, they have. You know, they're on their way to picking up that touchdown.
That's right.
The drive Grogan and Morgan 28-yard pass.
Long pass now. Counts for a first down.
And they went 59 yards in that drive, but that's been about it. Of course, they can play it conservatively. 34-7 Patriots. 11 minutes exactly remaining. Weathers, the Just easing off the right side into a pile of Dolphins.
It's certainly a conservative call as they stick it into the line. And reminder that Grogan is calling those plays himself. And he's been around a long time. He's going to try and play the percentage game here. Eat the clock, keep the ball inbounds, try for the first down, take as much off the clock as he can, but most importantly, going to try and keep that ball from being turned over. You don't want to give Miami a chance with it right here. And they're very good at that. They're minus or plus 5 turnover ratios coming into this game.
He has Tutupu and Weathers as his backfield mates. Deflected, incomplete. Almost bounced down to Lyle Blackwood. Intended for Greg Hawthorne, the tight end. Well, Grogan honored during this past year the high school football field back in Ottawa, Kansas. Renamed Steve Grogan Field. You think about the honors that one can receive if you're in athletics. That has to be about as exciting as anything, to have an athletic arena, a field named after you. And so it is back in Kansas, Grogan Field.
Well, I think he earned it. He's really a quality individual.
102 yards in relief of Tony Eason. 3rd down and 8. Batted down and it goes right to Holloway.
It's legal.
And he has not a first down, but gets it to the 37-yard line. It hit a defender, so it's a free ball. And Brian Holloway, the left tackle, had his 288 pounds going upfield.
I bet that's his first reception ever. As that ball batted into his hands here, you see it slapped right there.
Doug Betters,
number 75, knocks it across. Well, that's not the most agile running back I've seen ever.
But it does figure, doesn't it, the way things are going, that it would become a completion.
It sure does. I told you about New England, a plus 5 on the turnover ratio. They're plus 3 today. That's a plus 8. I would imagine that will put them first in the league unless somebody has a real big day.
Camarillo under pressure gets away a beauty to Pruitt at the 13. This rookie from Cal State Fullerton chopped down at the 21. Greg Hawthorne made the tackle. A 50-yard punt into the wind. 8 yards on the return. The Raiders down 17-0 have taken the lead at Kansas City. The Raiders, after an 0-3 start, trying to make it 2-3, and they have Seattle at home next week. San Diego hosts Denver, another big game for us on our doubleheader week on NBC. And here in New England, it'll be the Jets and the Patriots, another outstanding match. On the ground to Hampton. Mike Ruth, middle of the defense for New England, the number 2 pick out of Boston College. He says he's going to work on the weights in the offseason, try to build up his upper body.
Yeah, I'd say those arms are scary. I think if I were on the other side of the line, I'd just sit there and look at his arms. I'd hope he didn't hit me.
The Outland Trophy winner from last year is the top collegiate lineman in the country.
He does have a lot of learning to do. That's not an easy position to learn.
Marino extricates himself and then can't find his running back. A flag is down, where you would suspect holding again on Miami. So it is.
Yeah, while we're letting him sort that out, let's go back and look at Mike Ruth. I mentioned he has a lot of learning to do. One of the things you have to do is to avoid that center. And that's not easy when the center is number 57, Dwight Stevenson. Look at him trying to use his strength on Stevenson. You see that great power. Stevenson just stacked those arms into him and just locked him down.
That is an amazing shot. Here's Ruth with all that muscle.
Number 61 offense.
And all that power. And Stevenson didn't really look as if he was digging in. He was doing it all with his upper body. I wonder if we could see that again. That was an incredible replay.
He had great position. Now, Mike Ruth can bench press about 550 pounds, but it's not always strength. It's position. Look at the position. Look at the position right there. Great job by Stevenson of being able to control, I think, probably a stronger man, although Stevenson is very strong himself.
Boy, the laws of physics there are being applied by Stevenson. it's New England.
Yeah, we're looking at the education of young Mike Ruth. Let's go back and take another peek at him on the nose. Again, you've got to remember that playing in that nose position, you got a lot of people bouncing off of you. He gets a little help, Stevenson does, from Ronnie Lee, the guard, number 72. And Stevenson just gives Mike Ruth a little assist as he heads on his way. Well, not much to chuckle about if you're a Miami Dolphin today, and I think even that will go without a chuckle in the film session on Monday.
So you're seeing really the great talent, the all-pro talent of Stevenson against a very promising, strong young man, Ruth. 3-yard deficit on the last play, 3rd and long from the Miami 13. Bombs away. Cooper well covered, and the pass wobbly. Marion was there along with Claiborne, Ernest Gibson close by, and Miami will have to punt.
Well, here's the final look at the education of young Mike Ruth, and Stevenson backed off on that last play. Let him take a swipe at the air, but that's leverage. The ancient technique of using leverage to take a heavy weight or a stronger person and use that strength against them.
See why Howie Long and the other great players who've had to go nose to nose with Stevenson have considerable respect for his talent. Roby to Fryer. Boy, is Roby going to get a punt out of this roll? He's going to have a big number all the way down. There's no flag down to indicate interference against Fryer.
And a 73-yarder last week. He may have gotten as much on that one.
Going to be unofficially 74 yards. 73 was the longest of this season, and Roby gets another big one. But the Dolphins need more than that. Most of the hurts for Dan Marino have been emotional.
Look into those eyes. You see a message. Long afternoon. Stretching into long, long night. I don't think I want to ride home on the airplane with that man.
Officially, the last punt, 73 yards, ties the longest of this season and ties the longest ever in Miami history. Grogan from his 14. George Little brings down Tony Collins. Trevor Matich, second-year offensive lineman from BYU, now in there at center for Pete Brock. Matich, number 64, getting some activity. Now, what will this win do for the New England Patriots after they win their first two and then drop 2 in a row?
Well, I think it gives them a good feeling about being able to sustain through a whole game. They really have been able to play pretty much as they wanted to throughout this game, although they have not dominated as much in the second half as they did in the first.
Ooh, quite a hit there by Offerdahl as he came up to plug the hole and make a solid lift. Next week, Jets and New England. And of course, the Jets late game today. That'll be a fight for the top spot in the AFC East. Buffalo, Miami. Kansas City will be at Cleveland in our early games. It's a doubleheader week for us, and we'll have Denver at San Diego or Seattle at Los Angeles for our late game.
The other thing, obviously, that this does for New England keeps them within a game of the Jets. They have a chance to equal that record next week. If they can knock the Jets off, they'll be tied for the lead.
And the Jets still have to win their own game later this afternoon. Rogan. Oh, right off the hands of Alex Moyer. A sure interception for the linebacker from Northwestern. And a flag is down.
Mike Kozlowski saying, what are you calling here? What are you calling here? We may have an illegal bump downfield.
Oh, another penalty against Miami.
Looks like Moyer has one of those
Illegal use of hands.
masks
Number
on.
44, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Paul Langford with a penalty.
I mentioned Grogan's ability and courage in standing into the rush. You pay a price for that. You can watch it here.
Max Moore, 91, applying the hit. But a first down on the 5-yard penalty for Grogan, and the Patriots out at the 23. Guy Morris has replaced Ron Wooten at right guard for New England. A reverse to Fryer. Oh, can he run? 40, 50, and caught from behind by Brzezinski, who saved the touchdown. The fumble after he was down. Irving Fryar in the open field. 30 yards and a little extra skirmish.
That won't endear you to the Miami sideline when you're up by 34-7 and you're running gadget plays, reverses around to the outside. Miami sideline is saying, we'll remember this when we have our chance.
That becomes the longest run of this season for New England. In fact, Tony Eason had a 24-yard scramble until today. That was the best effort on the ground by a Patriot. But on the reverse, Fryar takes care of that. 30 yards and a first down at the 46 of Miami. 4:46 left. Grogan to Morgan, incomplete. Unless they rule that a fumble, but no, it's no catch. Ball was not pulled in by Morgan. Chicago Bears apparently going to make it 11 in a row as they're shutting out the Vikings. By the way, Jim Plunkett is now quarterbacking the Los Angeles Raiders, and it was Plunkett's pass to Hester that gave them the lead. Bear touchdown came on a long one, 58 yards, McMahon to Ortega. Cedric Jones now wide left. Greg James.
Very close to the first down. Very, very close.
Bud Brown, Lyle Blackwood, Jackie Shipp on the tackle.
Dick, we talked a little bit about what this game will do for New England. Let's talk a little bit about what it will do to further deteriorate Miami's season. Don Shula has never been 1-4.
Never been 1-3.
Never been 1-3. Well, never been 1-4 on any of his coaching assignments. And I've got to believe that this game, as much as anything, will be the pivotal one in forcing him to take a different look at the way he's going to play his people. I think you're going to see him beginning to make some changes, playing younger players, looking for what he can do almost to get ready for next season. Not giving up by any means. He still will want to win, but I think it's got to change his approach to the season. For all practical purposes, this is a telling blow to any chance to get to the playoffs.
Shula was 1-3 when he coached the Colts, but he rallied that year, and they finished 8-6. So I'm shake his head as Grogan picked up the first down on the sneak inside the Miami 35. 3.5 minutes left. A long autumn afternoon for the Miami Dolphins, and a most encouraging one for the New England Patriots. This is a very good football team, as we said last week in Denver, New England. And they could, when you look at that schedule, New England could run off a winning streak much as they had in the middle of last season.
Well, they certainly have taken on a number of their toughest opponents, at least away from home. So far, they've got the Jets, as we mentioned. That's here. They've got to go to Pittsburgh, to Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is an improved team.
Meanwhile, Miami at home against Buffalo next week. Then they have to host the Raiders before they go to Indianapolis.
Well, we'll know more after 3 more weeks into the season, but this has certainly been a game to applaud what New England has done and to question Miami's ability to compete at this moment.
James stopped for little or no gain. William Judson, 49 for Miami. 2:25, and Grogan will just let that clock run down to the 2-minute warning.
Very few people have left the stands. They're really enjoying this day. They of course have seen the Miami Dolphins on many other occasions embarrass their New England Patriots, and I think they're enjoying having that shoe on the other foot at this moment.
Now Miami, no need to call time here when you're down 34-7. So the 2-minute timeout with New England ahead by 27. Budweiser, today's MVP is Ronnie Lepet for the New England Patriots. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all of the MVPs selected in today's games. Lepet with 2 interceptions, and he symbolized the toughness of that New England defense against Marino all afternoon. Now Steve Grogan in support of the injured Tony Eason. It does not appear to be a serious injury to Eason, rib injury, but Grogan filling the void very capably.
Cause to reflect on last season as it was an injury to Eason and Grogan's opportunity to come back on the field that really triggered that late season surge by the New England Patriots that led them on into the playoffs. And of course, Eason able to come back after Grogan was hurt to kind of finish up that job, although the season ended very sadly for these Patriots in the Super Bowl, and I think that's been an overriding factor, a real driving factor for them as they prepared for this season and as they played here today.
Well, the other part of that, too, is as it all sunk into them during the off year, they said, hey, we're good. We're really good. And Collins is one of those players who has shown his strength, both running the football and then with the emergence of Craig James unselfishly saying, hey, I'm willing to block. I'm willing to catch a pass now and then. And Jackie Shipp of the Dolphins slow getting up after a 17-yard run. Miami calls timeout with 1:45 left. That surprises me a bit. Shula, I'm going to fight you to the end.
Something hits you as you look at these two teams streaming off. One of my old coaches said, you're never as good as or as bad as a one-sided game. I'm sure that's true here, but there'll be great celebrations here in New England tonight and an awfully quiet plane ride on the way back to Miami.
Well, this has become an area where they enjoy their winning. The Boston Celtics, champions of the NBA. The Red Sox about to do battle with the Angels for the American League pennant. And, of course, now New England back in the hunt in the East.